Okay, so today I'm going to be doing a deck profile on my salamangreat deck. So this is a very good deck in the upcoming format with the addition of Promethean Princess, and I'm playing a list specifically designed to play around Nibiru. And it's very consistent, it's very good, and plays a lot of non-engine. So we're going to start off. Free Gazelle, one of the best cards of the deck. You always want to draw this. It does so much. It's one card starter, it does stuff with other cards, it's amazing. Free Spinny, you want to draw this in combination with any other salamangreat card. It's very good on pairing with Gazelle. There's a combo of just these two beast nib. We play the 1 Fire, 1 Weasel, 1 Foxy, 1 Jaguar. And we play these 4 because you summon the fire off the Stallion out of Weasel. And you can also add Weasel off another card, which is a bit spicy tech we're going to show later on. We have 1 Foxy to discard any like Jaguars we've drawn or any spinnies. And when we play the 1 Jaguar to recycle our stuff every turn. Now we play our normal summon of the deck. We're actually going back to Lady Debug because Lady Debug is just hyper consistency for this deck. And it's also a very good card in relation to another special, that same card in the extra deck that I will be showing later on. Got Free Circle, so good, just Rota, plays on draw. We've got the Free Will, which is to help out grind all of these like really grindy fire decks. It's really good, it feels so good to draw, and it's the main reason you're able to grind with this deck. The 1 Sanctuary, you of course play this, it's a free ad, and you don't actually need it sometimes for some of the combos, but you do for a decent amount of the time. But lots of the time you can summon Promethean Princess by bringing back stuff off Weasel. Play with free Silent Mining. Some people don't like this because of Droll. This deck plays quite heavily into Droll, but I think that it's worth it to get rid of like the nib weakness, and you can still end on negates through Droll, through nib. You can't end on anything if you're not playing this version of the deck. 1 Roar, 1 Rage. I was thinking about playing Transcendence and 2 Pyrophoenix instead of a Rage, but it's just too much extra deck slots. Now moving on, we've got the non-engine. So the standard, free Ash, free Imperm, free nib, and free draw. These are just the best 12 hand traps in the format, and we've actually got enough space for 15 because we've got so many 1 card starters. It also just makes sense. We've got free effect Veiler, which is just good into lots of matchups. I was thinking and going back and forth with the ghost spells, but I think Veiler is probably ultimately better. So those are the hand traps and the non-engine, so that's 15 non-engine. Okay, now we're moving on to the extra deck, and salamangreat has a pretty tight extra deck, but I think you have at least like 2 or 3 slots you could change on. Starting with 3 Bailings. So Bailings is your 1 card which you have to play, and I think 3 of it is basically mandatory because you go through 2 of it so much in your first turn with a few different combos, and the 3rd one is always follow up. And even if you go through 1 in your first turn, you're always going through 1 like every single turn because you want the destruction protection, and it's so good in the upcoming format. And the ad, I've got 2 Sunlight Wolf. You could cut this down to 1, but I like 2 for like grind games, and it's just very good, both effects, recursion. It helps you like get a trap every turn if you get into like some weird spots. Over 1 Heater because you just steal your opponent's stuff because everyone's on fire decks. It's really good, and it's also better in salamangreat because it helps you play through Nibiru because it says 2 monsters including a fire, so you can use a fire plus the nib token. Got Wicked, which is a special one over here, which I don't think many people will be playing, but I'll show you the combo later. It helps you play through nib because if you can add the Weasel, then Weasel lets you extend through nib. And we play the OTK package of Pit Knight Early, Proxy F, and Violet Chimera. And these are very good in this format because they're non-destruction OTK. and they also just help out if you're just trying to clear big bodies, because you get like 9600 attack if you like change their attack. And then we've got Promethean Princess, absolute best card in the deck. I think it's the only reason this deck's good at the moment, because it helps you play through every hand trap. It's good specifically in salamangreat because you can summon stuff to their field and then you get the summon back on your own turn as well as their turn. What's even better is that if you use Bailings to protect your own salamangreat monster, it still summons because it says them, so it's just a free body, free link free. Got 3 Raging Phoenix. You can cut this down to 2. It's very good in grind games though, and it's like the best card in the deck. You want to be summoning it every turn. You can add the wheel sometimes, and you go wheel effect, pop itself, summon 4 back, and get the OTK. Then we've got the 1 Mirage Stallion. You only play 1 of it because you're only summoning it once, basically. You can sometimes cycle it back and go Jaguar, but at that point you don't really have much to summon out of the deck, so it's kind of a bit pointless. So that's the extra deck. It's very good. It's pretty standard, I think it should be. I think the Wicked line with all the 1-card starters or 2-card combos is very good into Nib, and I'll show you that after going through the side deck. Now, moving on to the side deck, we're going to start off with basically just a bunch of one-offs in this side deck because of 1 card in it in particular. So we play 1 Pyro. This is your time card. If you have Pyro Phoenix, you don't need to play this, but 2000, such a strong gain effect. You can sometimes even win through like extra stuff, like if they're gaining like maybe 500 or doing 300 to you, the 2000 is just going to be over the top. It's good because you can summon it off Promethean Princess if you hard draw it, and then you discard it off Foxy, summon it off Promethean Princess. If you didn't hard draw it, you just summon it off Mirage Stallion. It's a very good card in this deck, and you can also just send it off Gazelle, summon back it off Promethean Princess if you really want to. Play 1 Ghost Bell for a card later on. It's just quite good for... Well, I'll just show it now. It's basically just a good cross-out target because this deck plays into Ghost Bell quite a bit sometimes. And if you're just signing in 1 Ghost Spell along with your crossouts, it stops for Nibs, it stops for Drolls, it stops Ghost Spell on the Promethean Princess, which is sometimes a choke point depending on the combo you're going for. Play 3 Phantasme because when you're like siding out stuff, you kind of just like want to draw like Nibs and Drolls sometimes against some matchups, and Phantasme helps you do that. Also, target protection is very good this format. Got 1 Feather Duster. It's very good against back row decks, and it's just good in general into lots of different strategies. Like this deck as well, it loses to Feather Duster if it doesn't stay up with negate. 1 Cool Buy to go about going first package. It can't be main because of the way the ratios work out, but it's a very good card. Play 2 Lightning Storm for random decks as well, which just lose to it. It's like the back row decks. And 3 Cosmic. This is very good going first. I mainly play it, but it also good going second. Like in Fire King, it's Raigeki plus they get rid of the follow-up by banishing the field spell. So I'm pretty happy with this side deck. I'm thinking of cutting with a cross-out package and just playing more Ghost Spells and maybe some DD Crows, but I'm not quite sure. I think the cross-out's very good into Nib. And Droll especially is the main thing I'm playing it for because I've already got combos to play around Nib, which I'll show in just a second. Now, moving on to the combos here, we're going to be showing you the best combo, which is Gazelle Debug, plays through Nib. It's very good into other hand traps, especially with other cards, because if you're negating stuff, you're basically just ending on the same board, but minus 1 piece of interaction. So they'd need like 3 hand traps to stop you completely. Unless it's Droll, of course. Droll, you'll end on 1 piece. And then if they have the Nib, then you'll actually end on a decent amount. I think it's 2 interactions with this combo. Of course, you're getting more stuff, you get more stuff. So we actually have more ways to bridge this combo because drawing any of these 3 also works because they're all just interchangeable for each other. Because this is just basically the Spinning Gazelle combo. We're going to start off here. We're going to normal the debug. we're going to go debug effect, which lets us add to hand the spinny. So then we're going to go off into Balinx. Balinx is going to add to hand Sanctuary. And here you might want to go spinny, activate gazelle. But that's actually not what we're going to do. We're going to spinny. We're not going to true gazelle. Summon back the spinny. We're going to link off here for where we're playing around Nib, because we get some of the wicked, and that summons gazelle and triggers 1, 2, and we go banish this. We banish for Balinx otherwise, but it's better with debug. You also want to add debug of silent mining, because it doesn't really matter if you're adding anything else, because if you've already got the gazelle in hand, then you still play around droll, because you just go normal the gazelle and you send off the trap card, as long as you have more follow-up, of course, like a spinny. Anyway, so we're going to have the main reason we could play around Nib is for Weasel, because it's a free special, and we're going to send the Jack because this helps us get 2 extra free specials, and we're just going to retain these 2 the entire time. Here you have actually made 5 summons, so your opponent can nib you. Nibbing here is a bit pointless because we still summon the Weasel, link off, go summon out second Balinx, and then we go effective Jack. We'd put back gazelle if we didn't have this and we opened like spinny instead of later debug, but we can actually put a Balinx here, which is why this is a bit better. Now you do actually want to be having the Balinx engraved for later because of the basically Promethean Princess interaction, which basically helps this combo playthrough stuff. Also, it's not actually viable to hit the Balinx with any imperms or ashes anymore because you don't actually need the Sanctuary for most of the time. So we can here go just one of these actually. We'll keep this and use the nib token, and that summons out our heater. Go with heater and Balinx into our Promethean Princess. Promethean Princess brings back the heater. Goes these 2 into Raging Phoenix. And here you could just activate Sanctuary, but it's better to get the draw one. So we go Weasel to bottom, get a random draw, summon to their fields like Jaguar, it doesn't really matter. And then we go Promethean Princess, summon, destroy both, banish this to protect that. And then we can link off both of these, which just shows you how it doesn't matter if you have Sanctuary or not. So it's actually beneficial if they like affect Veiler or Imperm or Ash your Balinx. You're quite happy about it. So I'd actually start making Balinx Genic 2 instead of Gazelle when you're going Genic 1, Genic 2. You'd want to do it the other way around because it baits out bad players' ashes and you actually don't care if you get Sanctuary anymore. So this here then lets you activate Raging Phoenix, get your Roar, and we've ended on a pop, random draw, and the Promethean Princess. So that's kind of 3 pieces of interaction if you're drawn into a hand trap. But we've also just got 3 other random cards in hand because this is a 2-card combo. So now it shows the nib is quite pointless there. We're just going to put some of this back and we're going to show you nib at a different point where I'm just going to get it all back to how it was before. So we were at this point, they choose not to nib us because you can obviously play through it there. And you think, oh, I'll go Promethean Princess, pray for Princess summon back. They think, oh, they've used a Promethean Princess. There's not much to extend here, but it's actually better to extend if these 2 get nibbed because you summon the nib token anywhere, doesn't matter. I get to summon my Weasel, link off into Balinx, and here you trigger the Weasel straight away, put it to bottom, get a random card, and summon to the opponent's field like Jaguar, it doesn't matter at all. And then we get to summon back the Promethean Princess by destroying the what's its name? Oh yeah, I forgot we're meant to have the Balinks engraved from last com, but I accidentally put it back. And then we get to destroy this. Well, actually, yeah, we destroy this and destroy this, but we get to protect with the Balinks. And here you link off into the Raging Phoenix. Here it does actually hurt if they hit your Sanctuary, because you do need to use it to go into another Raging Phoenix. And then the Raging Phoenix gets you the trap cards. And then you set it, and then you can use Jaguar to put back the Raging Phoenix for next turn if you want to. Or you could just keep the Jaguar in the grave, which I think is probably a bit better, because you don't really need to. You could, of course, have gone into another Balinks earlier on at any point, and then it lets you summon back the Jack for free, if you think they're going to nibiru at this point, of course. So you see, we've still got the nib token, and we've still played through it to get a raw, and then 4 cards in hand, because it's 2-card combo, and then the pop engrave. So it's all based on 1 negate 1 pop most of the time, but because we've got 15 on engine, it's likely you'll be able to play through even without that stuff. So now we're going to go on the final point, which you might be like watching this video thinking, oh, but I'm just going to save it till the end, and then you have nothing to extend with. I'm going to show you why that's also not valid against this form of a combo. So we've put it all back now. So actually no, this needs to be the weasel. Okay, so we're back at this point again. Our opponent lets us go into Promethean Princess. They let us summon back the Gazelle. They let us link off into the Raging Phoenix. And then here we're going to go Sanctuary. They let us link off again to another Raging Phoenix. And get the Raging Phoenix add, which gets raw. And I think here I go set 1, end of main. So this will be pop 1 and negate. Your opponent could leave it here and save the imperm for another turn, but 99% of players won't do that because they just see end of main, let's go nib, no point to you save it. So we get the token, and here it looks like we've gone through everything, but we've still got the weasel, of course. And as long as you have a weasel, you have a way. So get a weasel, the Balinks, get the weasel effect, put back, summon to their field, something random, something like Gazelle, get the draw 1. So this is the set card, this is a drawn 1, just to be clear. And then we get our Promethean Princess effect, summon it, and we get destroy the Gazelle, and we can actually save it. And then we get Raging Phoenix summon back, so it's even better this combo actually because of that. And here you've got a few ways to play it, but most of the time I just go these two. Actually no, I think here there's actually a lot better way to play this, because you want to play around Super Poly if you can. So you go into Heater and then you use all 3 to go into your Raging Phoenix, which just links on with Raging Phoenix. So it's not the case that we don't have enough Raging Phoenix in extra deck. And we of course do have at any point the Jaguar summon back, put back a Raging Phoenix if we want to play more into Super Poly but have more extension for next turn. I'd prefer not to do that. So summon Raging Phoenix, it links on it again. You don't actually have to do this, but if you have the rage, then it's definitely best to do it. But you could just leave it on the point that you have the Raging Phoenix, you have this, you have the token, you have the Promethean Princess, and here you could even summon out, like, I don't know really, you could do a lot of things. You'd have to get this engraved, so you can go for the Sunlight Wolf. You'd probably then put back something for the Jack, you'd put back a Balinks, so this lets you retain the Raging Phoenix engraved for later on. This heater's meant to be my extra deck, sorry about that. We get the Sunlight Wolf to add for Gazelle, and now we've got like an even better board. It plays a lot more heavily into Super Volley, of course. And here I'd also probably like to go into another Bay Links, so we have more stuff than next turn. And then if we're doing that, we'd most likely link off these two into the heater, because then we have the destruction, because if they try to destroy the heater we get more follow-up, and if they don't try and destroy the heater and they go instead and try and destroy like your field spell, say you've still got Bay Links. I wouldn't do this though if you had salamangreat, Spell Trap Engrave, because you get a Fox, there's a Sunlight Wolf add back again, but this just shows you've got 2 more graveyard things, and this combo is even better if they wait till the end. So I'd actually, if you were playing against salamangreat, you'd probably just do it at first possible point, because you're 100% cut them off heater if you're on a fire deck, and they end on like 1 negate, 1 pop, 4 random cards in hand, which can still beat you. But there's also another element to this, that your opponent could just save a nib, and it's very hard to go an OTK on follow-up terms with salamangreat if they've saved it, unless you draw like a will to play through more. But this is quite good, and it will have the 4 extra cards, of course. And you can see, even after getting nibbed at the last possible point with this salamangreat, you've got 5 random cards, because you've got 4 random cards, so you're meant to have 3. Because you drew 1, you had 3 already. So this combo ends with 5 cards in hand, 5 cards on board, which shows it's a +5 combo playing around nib. If they wait to what most people would do, I think 9% of your games you'll encounter this type of a combo, and I think this should be the one that you're most prepared on how to deal with if you to remember any of them. But anyway, thanks for watching. This was quite an in-depth deck profile, but I think it went fine, and I hope you have a good day. Subscribe.